Welcome back to GBGuns Armory, where we take time to revisit some of the stuff that's been previously reviewed, guns that have been out for a while. I give you a little bit more of my thoughts and feels, a little bit of backstory, since the main channel reviews are pretty much performance driven and fact-based alone. And I'm hoping that we turn these videos into a bit of a Reddit forum, if you will, since this stuff's been out for a while. It's no longer the latest, hottest thing. Chances are more of you have seen one, handled one, shot one, or owned one. So if you have experiences or reasons why, now that stuff's been out for a while, you decided not to pick one up, let us know in the comments. Let this become the how folks feel about things series of videos, if you will. For episode 51, we are looking at the Langdon Tactical 92 Elite LTT. And I'm sure some of you are saying, hey, that looks a lot like a Beretta 92. And in fact, that's kind of how it began. I ran into Mr. Ernest Langdon at an event a couple years back, and he had some of these and said, hey, you got to try one of these if you're a handgun guy. And I said, no thanks, I spent 15 years in the Army, I know the Beretta 92, I want nothing to do with it. And that's honestly how I felt. Passed by that table a few more times. Each time he'd give me the look, each time I'd give him the look of no thanks. Eventually gave it a try, and it's now one of my all-time favorite guns. Spectacular builds. So what Langdon Tactical originally did was take Ernest Langdon's decades of experience, both as a combat shooter and a competitive shooter, and improve upon the Beretta. He was real into double action, single action, and had, of course, a lot of time with the Beretta 92 from his time in service. And so took it from there and sort of fixed it. Now, if there are veterans out there like me that had the same opinion from service pistols, let me know in the comments. What I did not know at the time, even though I was an armorer, was just how badly abused and neglected those service weapons were. At least while I was in, the Army's lifespan recommendation for springs and things, the way it was treated, lubrication, all that kind of stuff was far less than ideal, especially compared to what's out there now. So there was already kind of an unfair judgment about the 92, but then what Langdon Tactical did to these things really improved it. I'm not going to go over all of it in full detail because, of course, the main channel has a video on this, but you can see our barrel is shortened to be just a touch longer than the front. We've got front cocking serrations. We've got a rail and the, I believe, Vertec grip. It's a lower grip module, but we've got proper serrations front and rear. You can probably tell by looking at it there that these grips are way thinner than the original ones, reducing the overall diameter, also giving a more comfortable trigger reach. It's been converted to a decocker only model with ambi controls. We have a different hammer, and the trigger has, well, magazine release has changed. The trigger has been worked incredibly. Watch how smooth this double action is. Let's see if I can do it as slowly as I can. Just flows right through. Very nice. The single action on it. And yes, for all the safety people, I check these things before I do videos. Single action is pretty decent. We've got blacked out with the rack on a rock or something rear sights, and a fiber optic front sight. Overall, it makes for a completely different shooting experience. Not at all what I had known from the M9 in the Army days. Really, really blew me away. This is a very early serial number. I was one of the fortunate guys to give it a try early on, if you will. Langdon Tactical has since become a much bigger company, doing many, many more things than just 92s. What I found interesting, though, was, you know, the Beretta 92 had gone unchanged for decades, effectively. And when LTT started making these, Beretta then started offering their own LTTs. Those were, of course, being done by Beretta, not at Langdon Tactical like this one was. So factory-style modifications versus a smith, hand doing each gun, if you will. And then beyond that, took a lot of the individual improvements that went into this 92 Elite LTT and started putting them on other variants of the 92. And now we have all kinds of big slew of SKUs of different variants of Beretta 92, many of which integrate what this pistol had on it years prior to those guns even existing. Spectacular gun, shoots so nicely. Yes, I close my left eye to shoot, since I brought that up and showed it to you. I'm left-handed and left eye dominant. I shoot right hand because that's how most guns come, and that requires using right eye, because if I use my dominant left eye while shooting the right hand, the sights dance. I've shot enough with my right eye that my right eye sometimes wants to be dominant, and if I shoot both eyes open, sometimes I'm right eye dominant. And usually about the time I get comfortable and really start getting into a groove and shooting well, my left eye says, hey, wait a minute, that's my job. And suddenly the sights are skewed and I adjust, and then my impacts are way off. So that's why I do that. I did that in combat in 2 wars and came back. The whole gotta keep your eyes open for situational awareness, I totally agree. However, closing one eye to focus for a shot, take the shot, and open the eye does not take very much time. I forget the actual speed that an eyelid moves at, but it's pretty stinking fast. Fast enough usually to notice if anything in your environment has changed. Little tidbit there. Anyways, these are still available. From what I see and have heard, if you're going to get one from Langdon Tactical directly. Do not get the Beretta ones that you'll find at a big box store, etc. Not that there's anything wrong with them, it's just a clone in some respects to the artwork that this pistol is. If you're a fan of the Beretta 92, chances are you probably already heard of Langdon Tactical. If not, look them up. If you were like me and you hated the M9, find someone who has one of these and give it a try. I wouldn't ask you to dive into the cost of one of these on a platform that you already thought you didn't like, because that's where I was. Granted, I have the fun hobby of getting to try things out whether I want to or not, and learning a lot from that. It's really opened my eyes to a lot of things. These are not inexpensive. It is not cheap to have experts in America spend their time to remedy, change, modify, gunsmith, etc. to specifications. So be aware of that before you go. Be prepared for possibly some sticker shock. Do I think it's worth it? Well, as with any expense, what is worth what is completely up to either beholder, your budget, your comfort level, your needs, your application, etc. But this thing is a spectacular gun that I think probably deserves some more range time. Haven't shot it much in a while, but it is definitely one of those favorites that when I shoot with friends or something like that, I bring out and have them try, especially if they're a veteran. It's a little wild to shoot one of these when you're expecting an M9. Just from picking it up immediately, it feels better in the hand and you're not sure why. And then as you're shooting, you start to really enjoy the action type and open slide type, reduced slide mass, all the benefits that were always there in the Beretta 92, but not necessarily as capitalized upon as they could be until you take a real shooting expert like Ernest Langdon and let him tinker with it and let him make a gun that American gunfighters and American shooters would like, which quite frankly is a disadvantage that Beretta was at when they created this. And the shooting sports and tactics have also evolved quite a bit since the 92 was developed. So even if they were cutting edge shooters of their day when it was designed, things have changed a bit. We've gotten smarter. There's been a whole lot more people providing a lot more feedback and input as the shooting sports have grown in America. So I don't fault Beretta for how the original 92 came out, but I sure am glad that Langdon Tactical exists and can make pieces of art like this out of a gun that I used to not like. That's episode 51 of GBGuns Armory. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.